This is my project in Unity 4 by me, and it was in winter 2023. So this project was inspired by a lot of platformers I played before, like Super Mario Bros. That was fun. So then I learned how to make collision and how to make checkpoints. And I use both of them in my project. So these are the two codes that was in the previous set. So collision is like the object that detects if something is colliding with it, and if it has a certain tag on it, then a specific function will activate. So then for checkpoints, it's also use collision, but um, for my project, the checkpoint color will change, and then it will set a new respawn point, and then when you die, you'll respawn at that point. So this is like a picture of my level, and we have to go to the demo. So this is just the main menu. You have a simple start, world selection, and info. So world selection, blue world is the first world, red world is like the second world, and then info is so then press start. You can move using arrow, jump using space, press X to pause. There's a death counter, and that's the main thing you need to know. And then for red world, it's like the same thing but different level. So yeah, the difficulty increases each level. And you have to press all the buttons in the level for the door to disappear in order to beat the level. And the buttons will turn green when you press it. And then when you beat everything, you get this little screen. So, oh yeah, there's a lot of prefabs. So mainly it's just platformers, obstacles, and UI. So you have a lot of scenes, and then there's the scripts. So let's go to collision. So for this isn't like on collision enter, but you get the thing. So it checks if you have the player tag, and it's an if statement. So if this if statement is true, then it'll process this script over here. And then for checkpoints, it looks complicated, but explaining it is easier. So basically, when it also uses collision, and then you can see respawn point. So the get component player is a player script that is on the player, and you can see that
I can't see your Visual Studio right now. I'm on your Unity screen.
so this also uses collision, and it checks for get component player. So it's just a player script on the player, and you can see a set of coordinates are on here, and it's a circle routine. So that's like the main thing. You have different kind of platformers, different kind of obstacles like spikes and lava. And over here, you have button checkpoint. Oh yeah, I forgot to say. So there's like an empty space at the bottom of the level. If you go down there, you die. It's like the void in Minecraft, kind of. So go over here. Yeah, and then the death counter. The death counter just to say how many times you failed. And that's basically the demo version. So, my favorite part was making the gameplay. So what I mean by this is like making hard gameplay meant the game wouldn't be so boring because the easy game would be too easy and then no one will play it. And then, yeah, no one will go back and play it again. And this was fun because I can picture what the people's reactions would be when they see the gameplay. So this is like the final level over here. It's complicated. And this is just to show the buttons. So if I were to improve the project, I would add more worlds. So there's like 2 so far, and then teleporters and a time game mode. So the teleporters are like 2 teleport pads. When you touch one of them, it will teleport you to the other. And then game mode is like extra difficulty and most likely for speedrunners. So before and after. Before I had very little gameplay and it was only 1 world and 3 levels, and I had less features. So new features, I added a pause menu, indication from when I press the button, and touch the checkpoint. Thank you for tuning into the slideshow.
All right. All right, hold on, Winston. I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind me asking. Can you please go to the slide? Can you please go to the slide we show the code there? So if you could please kind of make it a bit bigger, yeah. I have a question in regards to your checkpoint script. Specifically, why is change I see you have changed color there. Why is change color an I enumerator? Why isn't it just a regular method? Is there anything particular that this change color has to be this way?
So yeah, there's a thorough coroutine. So it's I enumerator because if it was like a regular method like a void or void update or an if statement, that would be difficult because you can see the actual checkpoint is not 1 object, it's 3 objects. Actually 2. It's a text and circle. So it will be difficult if you put an if statement. Unity probably wouldn't know which object, because is it referring to the circle or is it referring to the text? Is what it's saying.
Okay. All right. Next question I have is you mentioned that the 2 biggest, the 2 things that have changed since you last started were more levels and 2 new features, that being the checkpoints and the pause menu. Were there any other smaller changes you made between that time?
Not really.
You don't have to be
Not
anything like just any changes that you made, like from the gameplay perspective, from the end of Unity 3 to now.
But before I make the pause menu and stuff, I added lava, which is like spikes, but more intimidating. And yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I also added moving spikes, which is self-explanatory. It's a moving spike.
you mentioned that you wanted the players to play this game because it was, you wanted difficulty because the game would encourage players to go back to it, encourage replayability. But what about but I'm curious, like, do you feel like though the insane difficulty will have the exact same effect? Won't the game being so hard and so rage inducing mean that less people want to play it?
Oh, I wasn't clear about that. The time game mode is a separate game mode with the normal game mode. So like you could select it or you could just not select it. That's what I mean.
I've noticed your game does not seem to have the ability to switch off of that. Would you is that something you wish you could have done between during the time you had to game develop, or is it a feature that you feel like isn't too important for the overall sake of your game?
Wait, what did you say again?
You mentioned like the idea of the Kaiser that being like a difficulty kind of setting. Like, did you actually intend to have an easier difficulty, or did you just run out of time, or was that something you only thought of like after you were closing development of your game?
Oh, I think at first I just wanted to make a simple platformer, but then I thought that was too boring, so I made it harder. That's kind of why I named it Kaizo platformer.
And why is it called Kaizo?
Oh, Kaizo, like the simple definition is like extremely difficult, and the platformer, just by looking at this level, it looks difficult. So yeah.
Okay, I think that'll be fine. Thank you very much, Winston.